What I'd like to do in this lesson is to teach you how to make a candle box. This has got the instructions here. I'm going to have you make 4 slabs that are 6 inches by 4 inches, one slab that's 5 by 5 inches, and I'll tell you about that in a minute here. But you're going to roll out your slabs first and basically wedge your clay up, set down, roll this out. Once you get it rolled out, you're going to cut, let's start with a 5 by 5. Okay, straighten up the one edge. At the top. Then measure down. Well, let's straighten up the back edge here too. Try to keep these straight up and down. Measure down 5 inches. Make a mark. Measure down, make another mark. You're going to just do one of these. They're 5 by 5. Mark there. Mark here. Let's take this and put it over here. Then 4 by 6. You're going to do 4 slabs 4 by 6. You might have to roll out a bunch. Measure down 6 inches, look like this. You've got your 4 by 6. You got all 4 slabs rolled out. There's these 4. I've let these dry for just a little bit. At night when you're letting them store, don't put any paper towels between them, but you can put like the slabs down here, maybe like this. You maybe stack them like this on top of each other, just so they don't dry out too much, but just a little bit. Kind of want it just a little bit stiff. Still can bend, but it's got a lot of stiffness to it that'll hold itself up when you're putting the box together. Wrap them up really tight in plastic at night so that there's not a lot of air that can get to them. And also, if you're worried about it, put 2 bags on them. Now we're going to start assembling this thing. On the sheet, it shows you how to put this. You want these things to go together almost like a card house. But these slabs are going to kind of interconnect. So it goes one there, one here. So these 2 are leaning together. This one's leaning up against this one. And this one would be leaning up against this one like so. So you can see the top, how they kind of interweave like this. And that's the way you're going to put the box together, so that they lean up against each other. The reason I have you make a 5 by 5 is so that you have extra clay to cut away. Because it's going to be bigger than 4 inches, but you're not sure how big it's going to be. Whenever you connect this thing together, you start by making your marks anywhere you're going to connect the clay together. There's going to be along the side here. And along the bottom. Let's put that right in the corner. Let me turn it this way. That wet, that wet. This goes together, it's just kind of coming together. I want to show you on the back side what's going to happen. I'm going to push this side in with my thumb, and this side I'm going to kind of just squeeze it so that it holds that thing together real tight. Now, on the paper it says use a little coil and seal these seams up. So what you do is you take a little like snake kind of coil, and just a little guy like about this big. You're going to stick it in any of these seams. First of all, it's going to look like that. Then you take your finger and you kind of smooth it together like this. Like this. Let's do the bottom two while we're at it. So you see this is happening here. Now, again, at the same time I'm pushing on the inside, see I push on the outside, kind of go up the edge here like this, just to make sure that this thing doesn't pop out the seam. Show you on the inside. Now let's put the other sides on. Is it wet? Let's seal this together. So if you take two boards, push it up against the side like that, and then put this other one against the side like this, that helps you a whole lot. So you just kind of go up like this, and that gives you some structure to push against, and you really get that edge smoothed up in there. Just go right along the edge at the bottom, kind of cut that off. On the edge over here, cut this off. Bring your hand up against the side to seal these seams. Get that real tight. And take a sponge. You can smooth that up with your knife. If when you're working on these boxes they start to dry out, put a paper towel on the top. Like for instance, take a paper towel, get it wet, wring out the water, drape that over the top, then cover it in plastic. Make sure that you always make it in plastic. Design on it. Say for instance I'm going to do a sun. Straight out with a circle in the middle. Kind of lightly draw it in with pencil so you can see what's going on here. But you're going to think of how you can get this box opened up so there's a lot of space for the light to come through. Don't go within about a quarter to a half inch of the edge because you need that support. And always leave a little bit of a space between the pieces you're cutting out. Start out in the middle, because if you work on the edges and work your way into the middle of the design, you'll break it because you lose your support. Start in the middle and cut your way out. So I've got these X-Acto blades if you have a real intricate design. Otherwise you could use a fettling knife to try to cut it out. But if you need to, I've got X-Acto blades that'll help a whole lot. Kind of go in and just touch your finger. Be careful not to stab yourself, but touch your finger, get it out, and then you can kind of push it out. Then we start around the outside here. Now when you get to the end of this, say for instance this is going to be the design on this side. There's going to be all these little burrs around the edge, or little pieces of clay. I'd let it dry a little bit first before I take those off. I want you to go ahead and make designs on all four sides. Get at least two sides done, two opposite sides, or three sides. If you get a chance, do all four sides. But try to think of a big airy design that's going to allow a lot of light through, or think about what would make it look good. Make sure that your name is on the bottom. Keep checking these things at night to make sure they don't get too dried out. The biggest problem is the cracking that happens right along the edges as you're working on these things. They get a little too dry, or actually I've had people too that put a sopping wet paper towel on, and that hurts them too. You want a damp paper towel on these things at night with a plastic